Hiya, Bob.
Hi.
Can you tell me, what have you learned from the Knowledge Cafe?
Right. Quite a lot. I've been educated a little bit more about Islam, for a start, and some of the misconceptions that Westerners and white British people have about Muslim community and the Islamic religion as a whole. I think it's been very educational for me.
Okay. What have I learned from the Knowledge Cafe? I've learned, like, I've seen Islamic in a different perspective. Like, there's some stuff that I didn't know that I've learned, like things that from that Muhammad might have done that like I never knew, and I've picked up quite a lot of knowledge. What do I think about the Knowledge Cafe? I think it's great because like there's like loads of different cultures. Like there's non-Islamic people, there's Asian people, there's African people. Just quite a lot of different cultures. So every single culture can have their say in that like specific point of view.
Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Walaikum salam.
Can you tell me, what have you learned from the Knowledge Cafe?
I've learned a lot, to be honest. I've learned other people's opinions. I've learned experiences as well as personal experiences. I have learned, obviously, non-Islamic and Islamic opinions as well as views. I learned about the guy who made a Knowledge Cafe. I've just learned a lot, to be honest.
What do you think you bring to the Knowledge Cafe?
I'm a humanist, so I bring a different aspect to it. I'm not a religious man, but I do know quite a lot about other religions and have travelled a fair bit. So I think I'm bringing a different sort of perspective to them, because I'm not only a humanist, but I'm an old British humanist.
What do you think you as an individual bring to the Knowledge Cafe?
My knowledge and my culture, like experience and the way I was brought up, maybe.
How do you think that the Knowledge Cafe could or has benefited our community or the community at large?
I think it's benefited us a lot in a way that it's opened our eyes. The topics that we've discussed so far, which I've come to pretty much each and every one of them, it's broadening our horizons in a way. So we're learning new things, we're learning opinions of our people themselves. We are saying what we feel, and we feel that obviously it's been listened to as well as heard. I think it's just, in today's community, we need to obviously let out what we think, and it's good that different ages, different cultures, different groups, we're all saying what we feel.
Do you think that non-Muslims would benefit from the Knowledge Cafe?
Yeah,
In what way?
because like I'm not saying all non-Islamic people have like some people think like immediately there's terrorists or they force people to get married. Like there's just some like sort of topics that they immediately pinpoint at Muslim people, but if they can hear what we have to say, they can understand that like it's not actually just us. It's if people follow the right way. It's not like it's not really us. It's what people do. So don't say it's Islamic, because that's not what's written in a book. Really, people misunderstand.
Do you think the Knowledge Cafe is good for the community in general? If so, how?
Very much so, because the more we can learn about each other and about our cultural differences, the more we can come together as a cultural whole. I think it would be great for more people to attend this sort of thing.
Okay. Do you think that non-Muslims will or have benefited from the Knowledge Cafe?
I think they've benefited, to be honest. The guys that have come here, the non-Muslims, for example, they had their own views, we've had our own views, but in other words, it kind of, a lot of people have stereotypes about Islam, for example, and most of us that come in here, we are obviously Islamic or Muslim, and when we kind of say what we feel, it shows them that we are, we're not backwards, we know what we're saying, the stereotype that Islam technically has, where it's a religion of not peace, the guys have seen it, and they've seen how we all kind of get along together, how we respect each other, how we, how we treat each other, Muslims like brothers and sisters, So I think it has kind of, it's not only helped them, but it's helped us as well. So we know what they're thinking,
And would you like to see the Knowledge Cafe continue? And if so, what topics would you like to see discussed?
I would like it to be continued, because I think it does actually like feed people's mind in the right way. if it does continue, I'd like to talk about like stuff like Illuminati, like more, I don't know, more hardcore topics. Like these topics were good, but I'll like more topics like to get my mind going really. Because I'd love to talk about Illuminati. Because I'd love to hear people's point of view.
What other topics would you like to see covered in the Knowledge Cafe?
I mean, the main ones are the important ones that we've had so far. They're the ones that I've always wanted to kind of go into, but maybe a bit more into. I don't know. I mean, we've done the most important ones. Like today's was forced marriages. I've always wanted to know about forced marriages, and I've learnt a lot. You know, suicide bombings is something I really wanted to look at too. What would I think? Maybe Islamic life in general, maybe cultures, because a lot of people confuse culture with Islam or religion itself. So I'd love to know different people's cultures, different people's like traditions and views. I mean, I don't know if this would cause an argument or anything, but you know, you've got like different sectors in Islam. Maybe learn a bit more about that. You know, where we come from, how come we don't mix, or you know, that kind of thing, maybe.
Okay, thank you very much. Terrific. And lastly, what other topics would you like to see covered in the Knowledge Cafe?
I think the selection so far has been pretty good. I've missed out on a couple of them, unfortunately, but I'd like to see something about community involvement, because the Islamic requirements are that good deeds or community welfare work is done, but it tends to be within the Islamic community, I think, for the most part, and I'd like to see discussion about the community aspect of being British.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Right?